get better each and every day and just keep progressing. Because I knew when I got that opportunity, I just wanted to be ready. So once I did, come out, finally get there, and I'm super excited.
During that time waiting, you spent a lot of time with Brock Vandergriff. What are Kentucky fans going to get from him?
Yeah, me and him built a great relationship. We still do have a great relationship to this day. I mean, we talk almost every single day to this point. He's a great quarterback. He's a great athlete, but an even better person. So I think that aspect, as a quarterback, being a good person, being able to connect with your teammates, being a good leader, I'm super excited to, see what he's able to do at Kentucky and looking forward to him, having success.
Carson, a lot of people think that you and Quinn Ewers are the two best quarterbacks in college football right now. When you watch them, what do you think makes y'all two most different as quarterbacks?
Honestly, I don't really watch any other quarterbacks as far as, in college, so I really couldn't tell you. But, there's a lot of talented quarterbacks, throughout the entire NCAA, and I mean we're all kind of going after the same thing. We all have the same goals, so obviously super excited to see how everyone else performs. And I was just at the Manning Passing Academy, so I actually got the opportunity to meet him. He's a great guy, and then build a relationship with a few of the other quarterbacks there. But just super excited for the season, see how everyone performs.
Thank you.
Yeah, another quarterback who was at the Manning Passing Academy, Jill Monroe. What do you think about him as a person, and just what kind of stands out about him as a quarterback?
Yeah, honestly, I really didn't get the opportunity to talk to him much. I introduced myself. I never had really talked to him, but we were doing so much the whole entire time, whether it was coaching the kids or we were actually the ones out there throwing. Never really got the opportunity to talk to him, but, he seems like a great guy.
What are some of the ways you deal with all the outside noise of Heisman Trophy contender, like all that stuff that comes along with being a quarterback at Georgia? What are the ways you deal with that?
Yeah, for me, I think dealing with outside noise is just focusing on the team. I think the more that I focus on the team rather than myself, take it off of me, all that pressure disappears. Because when I'm focused on my wide receivers, when I'm focused on my O-line, when I'm focused on the rest of the team and how can I make each one of them better, all that pressure is gone and all that outside noise isn't even a thing. It's like, what are you talking about? I'm focused here. So, I know that's the biggest thing for me is, not being internally focused, but having that focus on the team and about what really matters.
What are your thoughts on playing at Texas?
You go to the University of Georgia. That's why you play in the SEC, to have those opportunities to play in big-time games against really good talent. Super excited to play at Texas. Obviously, haven't watched film on them yet. I mean, we got Clemson first week first, so let's start there. But super excited, to get to that week.
Last time you played at Bryant Denny Stadium, it was a COVID season, so there wasn't a full stadium. You just talked about road games. What's your expectation for that, and how do you prepare your team for big road games?
Yeah, the preparation factor is the same each and every week. Nothing really changes from that standpoint, just where you're playing at, whether it's at home, whether it's at Bryant Denny, whether it's at Ole Miss, whether, it could literally be anywhere. But the preparation factor doesn't change, but super excited to get the opportunity to play in those type of atmospheres, especially knowing, it's probably going to be a primetime game, whether it's a night game, whether it's a 3:30. That information will come out later, but I'm super excited.
Have you thought about Florida, Georgia, Carson? What it'll mean to run through and be the starting quarterback the second year, but obviously starting in your hometown?
Yeah, absolutely. That game last year was probably my favorite game that I played in. It was very surreal. I got the opportunity to play in that stadium, the Jag Stadium, when I was 11 years old for the city championship. No, we got absolutely smoked in that game. That's besides the point, though. But that was the last time I got to play there before I started this past year. And running out into the tunnel and just looking around, it was a very emotional moment for me, and it was very full circle to have grown up in Jacksonville and then finally got the opportunity to play in such a big rivalry game. So having the opportunity to come back and do that again, I'm super excited for.
You're training this off season, obviously back in Jacksonville. Talk about some of the guys that you worked with and how maybe you took your preparation this summer to a different level.
Yeah, so my quarterback coach, Denny Thompson, they've really grown over the years, and there's a lot of guys that come through there. Guys, Anthony Richardson, Caleb Williams just did his draft prep there, and then obviously I committed to Alabama and then ended up choosing Georgia. So, those are my top three, so I was definitely close for sure back in high school.
Carson Kirby says the results of the previous season aren't motivation, but coming that close to the playoff last year, is that a spur for you and the team?
No, I don't think so. I think Coach Smart is right in that factor that every single year it's going to be the same exact approach, whether we go 0-12, which I don't think will happen, whether it's 0-12 the year before, whether it's a national championship, whether it's we drop one, that motivation that we have for each season is separate from the last and separate from the next. I think we're always super focused on where we're at now, take it day by day, because the standard that we have is always going to be the standard. Coach Smart is always going to hold that, and the way that we approach it as a team is always going to be the same, regardless of the outcome of the season before.
Carson, going back to Brock, what stands out about his game? Obviously, we didn't get to see him play much in game, but what stands out to what you saw on the practice field?
Yeah, I mean, he's a very athletic quarterback. He's going to be able to make plays with his legs. Very cerebral, smart. He's going to get the ball where it's supposed to. But I think that thing that's going to stand out is, that being able to make a second play and also just being able to lead his teammates.
What's it going to be like to play against him? Obviously, you guys are really close.
I think it'll be super cool. Obviously, we're great friends, but then you get onto the field, you want to see him succeed, but not, And then, I mean, if you ask him the same thing, he'll probably say the same thing. You want to see him succeed, but obviously you want to come out of there with a win. So.
What impact did the Auburn game have on your season last year, and how would you describe the atmosphere at Jordan Hare?
Yeah, I mean, the atmosphere is insane. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, that was my first road start, first game on the road ever, playing and getting real minutes. Like I said, the atmosphere was absolutely insane, but I think it was a big growing moment for me. It was a big stepping stone to who I was going to become as a quarterback as the season went on, because we had to face adversity in that game. I threw a pick on the second drive, I think it was. I missed a couple throws early, and then we had a crucial turnover, and they go down and score right at the beginning of the half. And it was either okay, let's step up and let's man up and let's make this happen right now, or we're going to lose this game. So I think that game was a turning point in that my season for sure, and kind of elevated me and gave me confidence as the season went on.